Hello, in this lecture you will learn how to use file tables in the SQL Server. So what a file table is, it basically stores the stream of your file on your device. So whether it be server or computer, you will have it stored as a proper file, not in the database itself, but the database will contain that certain data, and you will be able to quickly insert and access those files easily. Now, to get started, you need to go to your database. You need to go to the database. And first of all, we will try to create the file table. And to do that, you go to tables, expand them, and then you have several options. If you remember from previous lectures, you have system, file, external, and graph. Now, in this case, we will need a file table, so let's right click on that and let's do file table. So a file table does not have a designer. As you can see, it does not have such a thing. It has simple syntax, SQL query, and here we have create table, and basically the first line is if something exists, if that particular name of a table exists, it will be dropped and then recreated. Now we don't really need that, so we can actually delete it. What we will need to look at is the creating of a table. So let's delete all that. This just suggests what you can do. So let's try to do test file table, let's call it that. And you can now see that you have file table directory, and then also you have this file table, call it file name. So you don't need the second one. If you really want to look into that, you can read the documentation, the official documentation, but usually you will just need the file table directory. You don't need anything else, and you shouldn't bother yourself with anything else. So here you have the file table directory, and you will set that directory. Now to do that, you need to actually create the directory. So you go and right click on the database, and you go to properties. And then you need to do several things. You have files here, and you also have file groups. So we will need to create a file stream group. So let's add that group, and let's call it tstflgr. Let's do a short name for this one. And you can also do it as read only, and also you can do that as default. We won't do any of those. And now you can go back to the files, and you can add new file. And first of all, the file type. So this one is not expanded, you can't see that, so let's expand it. And as you can see, you have rows data, log, and file stream data. In this case, we need to have the file stream data. So as you can see, since we only have the only group there, it is added automatically. If you had several file stream groups, you could choose the one you prefer. Now, again, I would suggest to have one group for one table. It will be easier to differentiate everything. And then also, if you go further, you have the path. And you have that sort of a general. You can open it up, and as you can see, you have this sort of default path, and we can actually leave it like that. And then you have a file name, we won't need that. So we have the file stream. So let's do test FL stream. Let's do test FL stream. And it should be fine now. It should be fine. As you can see, the size is not declared and the auto growth is unlimited. So we have that, and we will need to create our directory here. So let's try to do the FL stream directory, just like that. And then we also need to use which specific database. So we do test database 1. Now at this point you just execute that and see if it works. And it doesn't. Let's see what's wrong here. So you have file tables object requires the file stream database option, directory name to be non-null. And then to create file stream, as you can see, you have this kind of a lengthy description, and this is actually quite a common thing. So you need to actually get back to the database, and you go to properties, and then you need to choose several additional things here. So let's go. We have that, and now let's go to options. And as you can see, you need file stream directory name. File stream directory name, so it was FL stream directory. We need FL stream directory, like that. It has to be the same name that you are using here. So as you can see, it's only one directory per database. And then you also have this non-transacted access. So there are 3 options. You have full, read only, and off. Now what a non-transacted access is it basically allows you to access the files through the folder. So you can go through your Windows Explorer and you can access those files through that folder. You can do read only, so you will be able to only read those files, open them, and also you can have full, so you will actually be able to copy and paste file in that folder and it will get to the database. So we can do the full one. It doesn't really matter in this case, although for security reasons you might try to do read only or do off as well. Now it should be fine this time. So let's see. As you can see, you need to restart that and the whole thing. And now let's get back here. Let's see if it works. And it works. It works perfectly. You have commands completed successfully. And then later in the next lecture we will try to write a couple of procedures. One which will insert the file to this file table, and then the other which will actually retrieve the file. And then in the next lecture after that we will try to use C# driver and actually upload a file and then also retrieve a file. So with that we will conclude this lecture.